So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens next. Will Symbol be able to bring out some excellent play on Entombed Valley versus aLive, or will aLive be able to make the comeback and tie up this series 1 apiece? We are about to find out. The game will be kicking off very shortly.
And of course, this is aLive's map choice. One map will have been vetoed by Symbol, which could possibly be maybe Antigua Shipyards, one of the more popular maps for Terran to pick against Zerg. So Entombed Valley, pretty interesting choice. Sometimes we see something like double proxy racks on this map, but let's wait and see.
Welcome to IPL 5, Entombed Valley.
Oh yes, folks, a map where aggression has been known to come out of the gate very, very quickly. And let's see if that happens. Currently up 1 game in this best of 3 series. In the southwest corner, in the red trunks, it is...
TSL Symbol.
Looking to show his prowess once again after already a fiery start in this tournament representing TSL. But his opponent is certainly no pushover. He is, of course, the IPL 4 champion. However, this time he is fighting from behind. In the northeast, in the blue trunks, playing Terran, it is...
Fnatic Raid Call aLive.
Now, I don't know if you agree with this, Total Biscuit, but it just seems like as a Terran, there's no real easy shortcut win against a Zerg player. Even if you get like a big advantage in the early game or a small advantage, you kind of need to go through the motions, kind of the understood metagame. Every aspect of your play needs to be excellent, both your 2-2 timing, the way you develop your play, and then you even need to be able to consider playing a very, very late game with Vikings, Ravens, maybe battle cruisers, and so forth.
I would tend to agree. I feel that at the moment, TVZ is a match that's played in stages, and the death blow that used to exist maybe a year ago, 2 racks was considered for a while to be a death blow move. You could just win on proxy 2 racks, as simple as that. Whereas these days, you don't generally see any player at the top level win with proxy 2 racks. Usually, he just does a significant amount of damage with it, and then he has to keep playing, and keep working his opponent. And you just can't win with just this easy move anymore. So yeah, it's hard work, but I don't think you could ever really never consider it to be easy from the Zerg side either. Zerg doesn't win with 1 move in this matchup either. They are consistently harassing with Ling run-bys. They're trying to get Baneling bombs, they're trying to get burrowed Baneling hits, they're trying to move into the natural expansion and do some damage here and there, they're trying to catch forces out of position with Infestors. So it's just it's an exhausting matchup, I feel, for both players.
Yeah, definitely. They're both will be tested to the fullness of their skill. There's really very little shortcuts here to win, even if you are ahead. And like you said, it's a game of stages. I feel like for Terran, the only way maybe that could be an exception to that is where they crank out a large amount of Hellions and try to run by. But we saw in the last game, Symbol SimCity was excellent. He was using 3 of those building blockers at the natural, the evolution chamber, the roach horn, and so forth, and just keeping back a couple of roaches there to plug that gap. So even that is it's much harder nowadays already.
Yeah, this was a strategy that started to really come into its own a couple of months ago. Hellions have fallen in and out of favor. There was, of course, the famous Blue Flame Hellion period where everyone and their mother would open up the Slayer's build, I suppose you could call it, the Refinery first into Double Factory, Blue Flame Hellion. Then, of course, that got nerfed and people got better at defending it. And then you had this big swell of Red Flame Hellions idea that people said, you know what, Hellions are still good. We can still use them. But then Zerg said, well, you know what, if you're going to do that, we're just going to wall off then. We're going to make sure you can't get into the natural to begin with. And I was surprised it took that long for Zerg to really start doing that.
Yeah, I guess there was like some idea against building the crucial tech structures at the front of the base. What if they die
Could
to
be
like
sniped, yeah.
Marines or like a tank push, very Brood War-esque kind of Marine tank push or something like that. But yeah, definitely it was a very natural and very important change in their play that they started walling off at the front there.
Certainly, and of course the fact that Queens were buffed in the way that they were does mean that Hellions got a little bit of trouble. They used to be able to just run around with impunity. It was actually infuriating to watch, even as a Terran player, watching the Zerg try to chase around Hellions with a range 3 Queen was irritating. Speaking of Queens, Symbol is going seriously Queen heavy this time around, and I've told you this before, he has so many builds, it's just ridiculous. It's like he has all of the builds of all of the TSL Zergs and then a bunch more that he can just pull out at his disposal. He's going 6 Queens very, very early on 2 bases.
Yeah, perhaps, oh, look at that, finding that drone. Very nice find there by aLive. A very cute play there where he has that bunker on the natural ramp. On the 3rd ramp, I should say, and to try and deny possibly any early drone coming there as well. Now, Symbol perhaps recognizing that it would be more difficult to take an early 3rd, did that drone trick, but apparently aLive knew about it, and also that is why he's going for so many Queens. 6 Queens, recognizing it would be harder to wall off this natural ramp and trying to push out that creep. And look what an early lead Symbol already has on that creep flower extending into the map.
This is going to get crazy, actually. He's going to be extending towards the center of the map, and at this rate, he could probably be at Zelnaga within 2 minutes. That would be ridiculous to watch, but certainly by no means at all unrealistic. We are going for 1-1 and fairly late speed right here. I'm interested to see what aLive's move is, because he's going to go for another command center. He is, by the looks of it, going to grab some Hellions, and he's also putting the starport into play as well.
Yeah, so far there's 4 Hellions on the field. I'll be curious to see if he's making any more. He looks to be going once again for a very dedicated bio play, that 3rd command center. The starport's on the way, as well as double engineering bay just being started. So these 4 Hellions, they're just to provide some harassment. I wouldn't say that their role of stopping or killing creep tumors is going to be quite as easy in this game as we sometimes do talk about.
Not with 4 Queens on the map. That just ain't going to happen. It's a really curious defensive setup, actually, from Symbol. It's not something I see an awful lot, but it's cool. It's really nice to watch, and obviously he's got to deal with the fact that there is this nasty bunker placement from aLive. Very, very sneaky indeed. Hellions run right into 4 Queens there. And this is a situation where the Queens can get rid of that, and aLive realizes, having seen the 4 Queens and the amount of lanes set, okay, I've held this 3rd base off for as long as I can. I'm already building a 3rd command center. In fact, it's about to finish. I've got a good economic position going forward, and I also know my opponent is playing defensively. So I can safely think about saturating my natural and going for my 3rd.
And I really like that idea that aLive was ready to sacrifice that bunker, because he figured, okay, you just saw it, I already did my delay, and you're probably going to be making a big round of Zerg to try and kill that. Now aLive has a chance to maybe salvage some of his units, at least I thought, but he's keeping the Marines in the middle. So.
Well, he wants to keep an eye on and make sure that there's no nasty counter-attack, because the problem with baiting your opponent to building a lot of lings is that your opponent also might attack you with them.
Yeah.
So you need to keep an eye out.
It's a very nasty consequence of a Zerg making a lot of links. The consequence is that they have a lot of links.
Yes.
Which they can use to kill you.
That is the mathematical formula that is being put in place, and you cannot argue with science in this situation. What you can argue with is that decision to go into the center, because, oh no! 1 Queen, 2 Queen, transfuse goes down, might be a 3rd, yes it will be. Excellent move right here for aLive. Is he going to get all 4? He very well could if he stims again.
He's going to get a lot of these creep tumors, going for the furthest one first. Very, very nice move there. Many creep tumors. So much hard work for Symbol is being undone. He must be so annoyed.
That is really irritating to see, and unfortunately the Banelings aren't going to be ready in time. Scan goes down. Lings managed to make their way through there, but are shut down completely. And that was a beautiful move there by aLive. He expended essentially nothing to kill 3 Queens and massively reduce the amount of creep that's going to be on the map over the next few minutes.
And, Symbol is going to have to start almost from scratch. I wonder, does he still have 1 life? Yeah, he still has 1 life creep tumor in the middle of the map. That's a small bonus. And he has also extended a creep highway across this hidden base here, this inaccessible base with that Overlord vision and creep spread. Very nice move here by him, and that means that he's still at the halfway mark there on the left side. But hold the phones for now. The Zerglings are following the Marines and the Hellions. The Hellions can't get any shots off because of the way that aLive is doing this stutter step.
He's sneaking out of there, and that is aLive stutter step micro in action. Beautiful, beautiful performance there from the Terran player. Gets out of there, no problem at all. Symbol blocking off the 3rd base, as he has a tendency to do. Going for Hive at the 12.5-minute mark. This is the standard strategy of Zerg. I'm going to build nothing and I'm going to try and get to Hive Tech and see how that works out for me.
Yeah, they'll build nothing while they're trying to get everything. It's a pretty cool build, and of course they will facilitate that move with a lot of Zerglings.
They certainly will. They're going to have to rely essentially entirely on Ling and Infestor in order to get to this point. 2-2 is about to kick in, so upgrades-wise, he has a really nice position. But I am concerned about the number of Marines on the map. And do you see the 3 magical upgrades, Grubby, for the Terran player?
They look just about lined up. Maybe the tank attack upgrade is about a little bit earlier, but this 2-2-1 timing is always a very popular one for Terran to try and hit. And it's also something that they really can't afford to wait too long afterwards to wait, because by that time Broodlords might be coming out already. But of course we do know there's no Spire on the field, so it's once again going to be that trademark symbol Ultralist play.
Yes,
he does seem to favor those, doesn't he?
I tend to agree with the idea to go Ultra, actually. It's becoming more and more popular again. It used to be the old school Stefano build when he was known on the European ladder as being the Slayer of Terran. He would go Ling Ultra all the time. And Broodlords became popular, and now actually seeing players like Violet execute these amazing Ultralisk pushes against innovation and top quality Codes players, and it's doing really, really well for them. Not seeing Adrenal Glands come in as of yet here for Symbol. I hope that's not something that he's forgotten. It's kind of a key part of this build, but a lot of players seem to forget it. Now, the drop is the first stage of this 2-2-1 push, and he's trying to find an area to go in. This great Zergling placement is going to spot all of this. Betty wishes it was a Baneling right now, but at the end of the day, it's a scout. He sees the push coming, he knows where it's coming from, and he's ready to engage. Marauders are already in this composition. You might think not so useful, but not too bad if you can start to target Banelings and slow them down with Concussive Shell. So it's definitely not the worst thing to have in there, and he's going to need to prepare that anyway for the inevitable Ultralisk push. Currently, this drop has done precisely nothing. There's a significant amount of units at the back there. They could be added to this force, but here is the drop finally. He manages to make his way in there. Ling's already there to respond with a great position there from aLive. This is going to be a very efficient trade for him.
And now the side flank is coming in from Symbol. He once again has a low amount of investors, but he has a lot of Banelings, and they are connecting with the tanks and the Marines, and it looks like there's just way too much here for Symbol. Despite aLive having such a big army and 2-2 upgrades having finished, he wasn't able to break through here. But on the bright side, he's killing an Extractor.
Oh, wow, that's an incredible move right there. He might kill the Infestation Pit. That would be a little bit more useful, but I have a feeling that he's not going to be able to do that. Of course, cutting off a little bit of gas mining at this stage is great, but he has also denied a reasonable amount of mining, but there wasn't that much going on to begin with. So this base is almost mined out. He's going to probably try and drop again. Yeah, he's going for the 4th base, and Lynx need to be back there, actually, in order to deal with that. Lynx and Bane's already coming in. Now, I have to wonder how efficient a trade that really was for Symbol, because I saw a huge amount of Banelings going down. Speaking of a sneaky little Baneling, not ideal. That was unfortunate.
There was too much going on the map. There's another drop there in the natural base there, as we see right now. Of course, aLive, very easy. Oh, he's going to move over the Banelings again.
The question is, will it connect?
They did not connect.
No Banelings.
But there'll be another chance if aLive wants to go on the offensive again.
Yeah, if it keeps going that way.
I just wanted to point out that very easy to miss, but actually aLive, he hasn't made an SCV for about 5 minutes already. He went to about 58, 61 SCVs, and he's been content to kind of stay there. So he tried to maximize as much as possible in his army, and it's going to probably rely mostly on mules as he makes command centers here.
I'm a little concerned about Symbol's drone count at this stage. It's pretty low. The harassment has been going on for quite some time already, and it has wasted a lot of mining time. He's on 4 bases with only 62 drones, which is not a huge number there, but of course he wants a big army as well. He's not getting that army as quickly as he otherwise would have been able to. His Ultralisk count is a little lower than I would like, and I believe he's still missed out on the Adrenal Glands upgrade, which is kind of critical at this stage.
Ah, yeah, that Adrenal Glands upgrade. Indeed, he does not have it. Such a good upgrade, and surprisingly often forgotten. Of course, if you don't know what it is, it's a faster attack upgrade, faster attack speed on Zerglings.
Yep,
so
25% extra damage, essentially, if they're able to connect and actually continue to hit the opponent. That is a scary force in the middle there. It really, really is. aLive doesn't want to engage at this stage. He kind of went with this 2-2-1 timing push, and it got pretty much crushed, but he also killed a lot of units So the trade was not exactly all that efficient for Symbol. If he can get his drone count up again, then he'll be able to mine a lot, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants this big army. He's got 114 links. He's got 25 banelings, a really crazy low infestor count, which is not something we see a lot, but here comes that huge engagement across the entire screen at this point. That was a great fungal there. The banelings connect very well indeed. The Ultralisks are rampaging. They're taking a lot of damage from the tanks up at the top there. Symbol wisely pulling back. Doesn't want to fight up that ramp. I don't blame him at all. Engagement-wise, I'd say the Terran actually came out ahead there. That was a lot of banelings invested to kill really only Marines. Didn't kill a lot of tanks either. The Marauder count's still pretty good too.
Yeah, he had some really nice tanks positions there on the high ground. He pulled back most of his army, and the energies were still in full energy. Sorry, the infestors, because they couldn't get close enough to the big...
Oh, the scan!
Beautiful!
Wonderful scan there by aLive. Picks off both infestors. The infestor count is now at 0. That is unfortunate indeed. There's the 5th base cancelled as regards to this drop, and aLive is all over the place right now. This is looking really strong for him. We've got an attempted transition to Broodlord coming in at this point, but that is not going to be happening anytime soon. The Ultralist count is still pretty high. He has gone with a huge round of drones because he realizes, I've got to transition. I need to do it quickly. I need to mine as much as I can to get that bank in order to transition out. But right now, he's got a great gas count, but he's actually minimal starved, if you can believe that.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of gas, like you said. Also, Symbol's making about 4 Corruptors right now, so once that Greater Spire finishes, he can morph in 4 Broodlords. But just 4 Broodlords might not be enough to counter 50 Marines that are on the field.
I don't think so, but that was a nice fungal, which means he's going to get a couple of tanks for free. That was nicely done charging it. They ran a second great fungal, and he might not have a lot of infestors, but he engages very efficiently with them. But these Ultras don't have the surface area. That was an awkward engagement angle. In the meantime, that Ling run by has forced that command center to lift up. Another Ling run by comes in to try and destroy the 3rd base. Not quite enough Lings, and still hasn't got that adrenal gland upgrade. That could be so crucial here.
Actually, I think the command center died, and this was supposed to be the 5th base. So that was a nice result for Symbol. Once again, making those Zergling run-bys count, even though he doesn't have the adrenal glands. Now we see Zerg missile attacks level 1 coming in. That's just for infested Terrans.
Ooh, note what's in that Medivac. There's a lot of Marauders there. This could be the Marauder bombing tactic used to essentially soak up a lot of Baneling hits.
Ah, beautiful. And Symbol was very quick to react. Oh! That was super efficient for aLive, and now he's going to move in. He does see that there's 4 Broodlords out, and as we see that, he's probably going to be throwing up some extra starports. Starting his first 2 Vikings now, but doesn't want to take off his eye away from the front of the battle.
Oh, that's a freebie.
To make starports.
However, is he going to be able to get out of there? The answer is probably not. You can actually just do a mass evacuate, in fact. Oh, the huge fungal. Can he get? There's no energy. Where's the energy? He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. Oh, aLive is out.
Balls of steel.
Good lord.
Oh my dearie.
I tell you, Symbol plays with a really low infestor count almost all the time, but I bet he's wishing he had a few more at this stage.
I think he had 1 with energy, but
he did, but it was too far back. He couldn't bring it in there. That was so unfortunate there for Symbol. He could have caught the entire army there. aLive is counting his lucky stars at this time, and now we see the transition through to Vikings that he's going to need to deal with this Broodlord count. But it's a little bit of a sneaky maneuver, because those Broodlords, forcing out a lot of Vikings, he's not building anymore. He's going back to Ultralisk.
Very smart move. As you said, 4 Ultralisks on the field, 5 more coming in, and there will be a total of 33 Banelings as well. It was just the 4 Broodlords, and aLive is making this massive investment in starports. Granted, he does have the money, however, so it's not going to be too impactful.
Well, that is a big run, and I have a feeling that Planetary Fortress is about to die, but the question is, how much will he trade for it? Lings coming in, Ultras as well. Lots of cleaving going on. There's going to be a lot of dead SCVs as well. Might even lose an Ultra here, but no, doesn't look like it'll happen. He's going to be driven away in the meantime. There is the return fire. A drop comes in from aLive, and he's pulling Symbol all over the map as much as he can. The drop defense Ultralisk is in the fray, trying desperately to get into contact, which is not going to happen. Once again, a lack of infestors and Spore Crawlers is playing against Symbol at this stage.
Yeah, and Symbol is on 71 drones, but he's really starting to feel the pinch here as he can't get a 5th base up. He's just mostly mining off of about 2.5 bases right now, so he's got to make this army count.
I think aLive really needs to get that base back. I feel Symbol realizes that he's got to be soon mined out, right? Surely he's not going to be able to keep mining, and the income is already low. He's got these small bases which have barely any minerals left. If Symbol continues to deny that base, then he's going to be in a great spot, assuming he can keep his army alive.
Yeah, that is very true. Now there's a massive amount of Vikings on the field. He's got 13 Vikings against just the 4 Broodlords. Very nice ploy there by Symbol, as it looks like he might be ready for the kill, but he's a very patient player.
Yeah, he needs a good engagement here. The question is he going to actually be able to get it? He's going for it right now. The Ultralisks are not in a great position. The tanks are, on the other hand, doing significant damage. He's managed to get around the side. Can he get another fungal? Right there, it's a huge one. It's absolutely massive. He's got a lot more infestors this time around, and Symbol is able to crash through, but huge damage on both sides. But look at that Remax. 7 Ultralisks in production right now, and aLive not able to get his army back on the field.
Yeah, Symbol is now pushing forward. The Ultralisk did not die enough, and all those Vikings on the field. Now we get to see how beautiful of a ploy that was by Symbol. And aLive is mostly remaking Marines, 7 Marines at a time, 4 Marauders, but he can't get the units out in time, and still he's so economy starved.
Viking drop coming down right there, and a fairly effective one as well, able to do some damage, realizing these Vikings are kind of useless right now. Let's go and kill some drones with them. Needs to keep doing that economic damage, but again, he still has the same problem. He doesn't have that 4th base.
Nice move there with the Vikings, actually, killing a lot of the drones.
Oh yeah.
But in the meantime, it's going to get very hard for him to clean up this units. Luckily, there's no more fungal growths on the field. Did he see that those infestors broke? No, he has more on his mind. He has to clear up those Ultralisks first. And he did land a command center again on the 4th base, but he's only just mining from it.
Can he keep it, I guess, is the biggest question here. The Ultralisks are finally going to get picked up pretty effectively, actually, and Symbol just take a lot of damage there. The difference is not as stark as it once was, but now there's a fresh round of Ultralisks and not a huge amount of Marauders. And aLive's going to have to play super defensively and effectively, but his drops continue to do damage. That 4th base has been absolutely ravaged. So in response, Symbol takes a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th base.
So many hatcheries and bases indeed for Symbol, but barely mining from them. It gives him a lot of potential, though, to be mining sometime soon.
Well, he's found the one base that doesn't have Vikings at it. That's always useful. A little bit of a drop may actually end up coming in on that base. More infestors coming in as well, and aLive is doing exactly the right thing here. He's trying to draw attention away from the 4th base. Unfortunately for him, he already knows it's there. He has creeped right up to it. If he'd got it just an inch to the right, he would have been able to deny the placement of that entirely. That's not going to happen at the moment, though. aLive is really barely mining. He must defend that 4th base. He must continue to try and do damage here. He picks up one infest. No, he doesn't. A nice burrow. Really nice burrow from Symbol. He doesn't have a fungal follow-up, so those guys are going to get away, or they're going to be dropped to the doom. That happens to with a nice little tricky micro, trying to kill the infestor. Can't do it, but he must defend this 4th.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, aLive, he can try to harass 1 or 2 hatcheries, kill them, and it doesn't matter. Symbol can just move away his drones and mine somewhere else. The real problem here is that this planetary fortress is going to get cleaved by Ultralisks, and it's going to go down in record time.
He needs everything he can get. He must repair it. No, he's too slow. He can't repair the planetary. He has no 4th base now, and this is his army. He has nothing else coming. He doesn't have anywhere that he can actually deploy another command center. Losing that 4th base was critical. The income is spiraling right here, and that is not good at all. Can aLive stay in this game simply via the medium of drop harass?
Yeah, and in the meantime, 4 Corruptors are coming out once again, which will be able to be morphed to Broodlords. 1 hatchery goes down. Good job there by aLive. Gotta admire his tenacity as he takes down this base. Once again, can't kill the infestors. Beautiful burrow micro there, cycling infestors below and above the ground.
Ling's now coming in saying, oh, we don't want that. Oh, if only we had adrenal glands, we'd be able to kill something. That would be wonderful, but unfortunately not. And this base, mined out. That base, mined out. This base, covered in creep.
Yeah. Now aLive would have to long distance mine only, which puts its income at about 180 minerals per minute.
Not great.
Not exactly what you want. About dwarfed by an order of magnitude of 10 by Symbol, that is.
This is looking increasingly dire, I would say, for aLive. He doesn't really have the necessary means to stop his opponent from mining at the 57 bases that he's taken across the map. As a result, his drop harass is becoming less and less effective. He is going to the base now to do some more damage, but Symbol's continuing to build up an army. He's going to go Broodlord and Ultralisk, because what is better than 1 tier 3 unit? 2 tier 3 units, especially if your opponent doesn't have the means to deal with either of them.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Symbol hasn't even reached the target of full upgrades yet. He's still getting that Zerg Flyer attack upgrade level 2, whereas aLive, he reached his targets a long time ago, so it's just getting worse and worse for him. Even so, he does not give up. He keeps dropping with that tenacious medivac drop. Always about 1 medivac in one place or another.
Here it is. This defense has to be done. That infestor count is disgracefully high, and as a result, I don't know how effective this defense is really going to be. A single infestor is going forward. He's going to throw infested Terrans, and then the engagement will begin. Or he could just kill him with Broodlords. That is also quite effective.
spotting within Infesta, and there we go.
Hello,
Infesta
there
turns.
it is.
Now-
And here comes the swarm. It is on its way, and I don't see aLive being able to hold this. There's just so many Ultralisks, Infestas, and Broodlords in the mix. Symbol looking to take the 2-0 against the IPL 4 champion to knock him down. GG! Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Symbol with an astonishing performance once again in this tournament. He is going far.
Yeah, absolutely flawlessly played by Symbol. It was
Excellent
beautiful to see.
execution.
Just going for 4 Broodlords and then switching back into Ultralist. He was just on top of everything.
Congratulations to Symbol. aLive, of course, is not dead in this tournament. He has many more adventures to go in the lower bracket, but Symbol advances through to winners round 5. Very, very impressive performance from him.
Yeah, definitely, and this means that we have only one more open winners bracket, round 4, to finish off before we can move on to the next stage of the game. Is that the one that we're going to be showing next?
I certainly hope so. I believe we're on stage for a little longer. If you guys are up for a little more StarCraft 2 by any chance. Maybe this.
You guys do not disappoint.
Creator Prime TSL Pult will be on this main stage very shortly, folks. What an incredible matchup that is going to be. Creator is destroying this tournament. Pult is showing perhaps the finest play we've seen from him in many, many months. You guys are going to get to experience that live here at IPL 5 on the main stage. Remember, if you're watching the stream,